Once again, welcome everyone to our live webinar for Supplier Onboarding. This is our first event for 2022, and I hope you've all had a great start into the new year. My name is Alina, and I am in charge of the customer success team at Prokuria. I know you all have very busy schedules, so thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. A few housekeeping items before we get started. My colleague Eugene and I will share with you today how easy it is to use a supplier onboarding form. We'll also explain how to address supplier management challenges, ensuring that all information is always up to date. This should take us about 25 minutes, and at the end of the presentation, we'll have the Q&A session for 5 minutes. Please feel free to ask questions through the chat at any point during the presentation. We will respond in the final part of the webinar. If we'll not manage to address all the questions today, we'll make sure to come back to you by email. Also, we'll get back to everyone with the recording of the webinar. Feel free to rewatch it, get back to us with questions, or share it with your colleagues. So this being covered, Eugene, we are ready to discuss about the supplier onboarding process.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Alina. Hello, my name is Eugene. I'm a business development manager at Prokuria. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time to join our webinar. We hope that you will find the information useful and helpful for your sourcing needs going further. If you've joined this demo, you are probably starting to notice that organizing your sourcing events or your supplier database just with emails and Excel files isn't good enough or efficient anymore. And perhaps you're looking for a system to help you stay on top of things. So that's what Prokuria is, basically. It's a cloud-based platform used for automating sourcing and supplier management. And today we will focus on the supplier management part, particularly on the supplier onboarding. Prokuria helps organizations gain better control over their procurement processes and achieve major time and cost savings through automation. Using our cloud-based supplier onboarding solution will save you hours of manual work, collecting documentation and filling in information in different spreadsheets and systems. At the same time, we can help you ensure compliance, segmentation, approving suppliers, and customize your supplier registration platform. Our solution covers the entire sourcing and supplier management process, addressing all the needs of the procurement department. So now let's go and see the agenda of today's webinar. And let me share my screen real quick. So first of all, we'll have a short introduction, which I just did. After that, we will go to the platform and see the supplier directory. So we'll see the backbone of Prokuria and how suppliers are organized. After that, we will go to the main topic, which is the supplier onboarding. We will first go through the benefits of this functionality, and after that, we will see exactly how this works. And last but not least, we will have a Q&A session. So now, this being said, let's go and address the supplier directory, which is the first topic on the list. So for this, let's go to the platform, and this is the main dashboard of Prokuria, which basically shows your active sourcing events like RFQs and auctions. For everyone who doesn't already know our platform, one of Prokuria's main modules is the sourcing module, through which you can launch various types of sourcing events in which your suppliers will participate. And speaking of suppliers, let me show you how we organize them in Prokuria. So we have here the what we call the supplier directory. So we see that the information is very well organized. We have a lot of criteria here, and what's one of the most important aspects is that what you see here is fully customizable, as with most modules of Prokuria. Here we can sort, filter, we can even delete some of the columns and add new ones in order to get as much information from your suppliers as possible. And let me demonstrate this real quick. Let's say that I want to eliminate one of the columns. Let's say that I don't want to see the segment anymore. And as we see, the column is not here anymore, so it's very easy to just have this view customized, let's say. Here we can add new suppliers. We can add them one by one through this button, add supplier. So we can add them directly, or we can add them with an import with Excel functionality, in which we download an Excel template, fill it in, and then re-upload it, so we can have you can have all your suppliers in the system. So now that we've covered the supplier directory, the introduction to supplier directory, let's go and discuss about supplier onboarding, and let's discuss the benefits. The first benefit would be better visibility over suppliers' capabilities. Most organizations today struggle with gathering and organizing supplier information because they lack a centralized procurement solution. A cloud-based supplier onboarding platform not only helps you determine a supplier's capability of delivering specific goods and services, but it also enables you to easily compare suppliers based on different criteria, such as price, risk of supply disruptions, regulatory requirements, and so on. The second benefit is it enables you to have a streamlined collection of supplier data. Cloud-based supplier onboarding solutions enable you to create online questionnaires to gather the supplier information that's critical to your business. These questionnaires support conditional questions and questions response types such as multiple selection lists, and you can even organize related questions into qualification areas and then assign specific outcomes to your suppliers after evaluating the information you receive. Even more, you can use these outcomes to automatically score suppliers based on the rules you create. Since all supplier data is centralized, sourcing events become a breeze. All you need to do is select the suppliers who fit your preliminary requirements and just take it from there. As suppliers submit their responses, you can either accept or return them to the supplier for clarification or correction in real time. And the third benefit would be that you can scale your processes, thus growing your business. There's only so much data procurement reps can process, but with the use of automation, the amount of supplier information you can process grows exponentially. This means you have more opportunities to grow your business while lowering costs, improving the quality of products or services, and eliminating human errors. So these would be the main benefits of the supplier onboarding functionality. And now let's go to the good part, let's say, where we will see exactly how supplier onboarding works. So in order to do this, we will need to access the platform, and we have the module of supplier onboarding. First of all, how supplier onboarding works. Basically, you can create your own supplier onboarding forms, and these forms, as you will see in the presentation, they are fully customizable. And what we can do is we can send them to the prospective suppliers via email, or we can even embed them in links that we can put on the website, or whatever environment we want, in order to have the prospective suppliers click on it and then they will access the actual supplier onboarding form. What we see here is a collection of all the, let's say, of all the onboarding forms that we have already received. And now let's see exactly what the suppliers will be, the prospective suppliers will receive. So we will just access here what we call the public form, and this will be what the supplier will see.
Eugene, please let's take a moment here. What I want to add is that with Prokuria, suppliers don't need an account to register into the platform before using such a supplier onboarding form. Also, this applies to some other forms that you want to use, not only for onboarding suppliers. This shortcuts all the process and helps suppliers to have a smooth experience and not get mingled into the password and user information that they sometimes forget or don't know how to get them once they've received and don't find it anymore.
Okay, thank you very much, Alina, for the clarification. Next, we will see exactly what the supplier will need to do here. So we see that there are a lot of fields basically that they will have to complete. All of these fields, as I was saying in the beginning, are fully customizable. We can delete some of them. We can add new ones in order to capture the exact information that we want from our suppliers. And this is just a very basic example of a supplier onboarding form, and obviously we will build it according to your own specifications and the fields that you require, and also the flows. But we will get into the flows a bit later. Now, for example, let's say that we want to add some other fields here. Let's say that finance has instructed us to also get the bank name and the bank account. We do this very easily by creating these fields through what we call an app designer. Basically, we just create the fields. I already have them prepared in the platform. It's just a matter of a few clicks, and what will happen is we will see immediately how these fields will be reflected into the form that the supplier sees. So now that we have those fields, we see them already appearing here, bank account number and the bank name. So it's that easy to have new fields added to the form. And obviously we can do this. For example, we can start with a preliminary form, and after that we can just add new fields as you are growing your business, as you are scaling your business, and you see that you need more and more information. So that wouldn't be a problem. Now let's complete this information here real quick, so we can see what the exact flow would be. Let me just complete some of this information real quick. We can make it, as we see, some fields have an asterisk, which means that the fields are mandatory. So we can make whatever fields we need mandatory, so the supplier won't be able to submit this without completing certain fields. There are a lot of types of fields, as we can see here. Some are drop down, some are simple text. We have devised a lot of types of fields in order for you to capture the exact information that you need from the supplier. They can even attach catalogs of products if required. And after that, we have this contact details section where we need to just fill in some information. And what we'll do real quick, when we have all this information done, then we have a confirmation checkbox here in which we simply confirm that the information provided in the form is true, complete, and accurate. We will just also check this. And what the supplier will do now is simply submit this, will submit the form. And now we will see, we'll go through the entire flow and see exactly what happens when the supplier submits an onboarding form. First and foremost, what happens is the procurement specialist, or yourself as a buyer, you will receive an email notification, which we can tailor according to your exact specifications. We have just constructed some very basic examples. You are informed that the new supplier onboarding form has been submitted, and the email in the default version looks like this. We are informed that the company has submitted the form, and what we can do is we can simply click to access the form. Also, the prospective supplier is also informed that we have received its form, and here we can put whatever other information we need. Now we need to go to the platform and check exactly what happens there in the supplier onboarding module, and I will show you what happens just in a second. So when we go to the supplier onboarding, here we see in the platform we see that we have a new submittal here. We have the company, we have all the details, and what we can do is we can also edit this information. So maybe the prospective supplier has done there are some errors here, or we have the possibility to edit the information. And after that, we will see that in what we call the internal form. So what only you as a buyer will be able to see, this internal approval section. So we can also implement approval flows. Here in the internal approval, what we'll do is we can simply select an owner. So someone from procurement will be able to be an owner of this particular supplier form. We see that we see also the status, which is in draft in the beginning. We can also add comments for the prospective approvers. What we will do is we want to send this to approval. We have a very simple flow in which we will just send this form to the general manager, which will have to approve this form. How we'll do this? We'll do this by the push of a button. And what will happen when we push the button, first and foremost, the status will change. So we have a very clear track of all the onboarding forms and all the statuses in which they go through. And besides the status, what happens is the approver receives an email notification, which again can be customized, and we can put other information here as required. The approver can simply click on this link, will be redirected to the onboarding form. They can check all the information. Obviously, we can have multiple approvers. We can also implement approvals based on thresholds, so on amounts, on numerical values. So, for example, if you would have here a field estimating the turnover, as is the case with some of our clients, what will happen is, for example, for values below 10k euro, let's say, you will need only one approver. For values above that, you would need two approvers. So that's also something that we can implement in Prokuria. It's just a matter of your needs tailored to our flow. So what the approver will do we see here that he can approve or reject. Let's simply approve. And after that, when we will approve, what will happen is, again, we have here the status will change to approved. And when we go in the supplier onboarding, module here, we'll see that we can keep a very clear track of all the, basically all the statuses of all the forms that we have received. And the last step would be the procurement specialist will be informed again via email that a form has been approved. And the last step would be to simply onboard the supplier. What this will do is this will put in motion an automated flow in which the information from the supplier onboarding form will flow directly into the supplier directory, which I've shown you earlier. The beauty here is that we can choose exactly what fields we want to go there. So we can. It's up to you what fields you need in the supplier directory. So once we click the onboard supplier button, what will happen in this situation? We see that the status is now onboarded. So this supplier is, or it's, let's say, in our system already. So it's onboarded. What this means is that if we go to the supplier directory, which I will do just in a second, we see here, so XYZ company, the company that I've just onboarded, is already here in the supplier directory. So this is, let's say, how the onboarding side would work. Now we have all the information here in the supplier directory. So basically, let's say the supplier is ready to go. And now, since we're here, let me go a bit more in depth on a supplier level and show you exactly what kind of information we can capture at the supplier level. So for this particular supplier, for example, we have some sections, and I will guide you through each of the sections. So in the summary, we have some very basic information like name and address, country, and so on. On the internal info, we get more into the segmentation of the suppliers. Here we can set statuses for the suppliers' categories. Yourself as let's say as procurement specialist will be able to define your own categories, and each supplier can be part of multiple categories. You can define the segments, which by default we have tier 1, 2, and 3, but some of our customers are using other values like gold, platinum, and so on. The risk, so the risk that the supplier would pose to your company, why by default we have green, yellow, red, but again, you can customize them. You can also put some custom tags, define owners for each suppliers, and so on. And then we have the additional fields section, which, as with the supplier onboarding form, where I've shown you how easy it is to add new fields to the form, it's, let's say, the situation is quite similar, and we can create on the fly, very fast, very easy to implement all these, let's say, new types of fields. These are fields that, for example, we have implemented for some of our customers. So one of our customers wanted to see here the payment terms that they have with this particular supplier, which is a numerical field. Another one needed to see the delivery areas per each supplier because it came from an industry which, let's say, this field is tailored specifically to that industry, and this is a multiple choice type of field. So this is one of the, let's say, main key points of Prokuria is that it's highly customizable and it can adapt to any industry. After that, after the additional fields, we'll add the contacts. So we need to have at least one contact per supplier. We can put as many contacts as we want, so at least one with an email address. In the responses section is where you will be able, let's say, to see all of the responses to all of the sourcing events in which this particular supplier has participated in. So all the RFQs, all the auctions and such in which this supplier has participated. From here, we can extract reports like historical prices and so on. After that, we have a contracts repository in Prokuria. So it's not like a contract generation tool per se. We cannot, let's say, we don't generate the contract automatically, but we can store the active contracts in here and can see them at the supplier level. The scorecards are essentially performance reviews of the suppliers. In this case, we have an example of an yearly performance review, so we can see the score and the, let's say, the evolution of the supplier per year. But you can have as many scorecards as you want. And in the attachments, we can put whatever attachments we have related to the supplier. As in this case, we have like the NDA, that we have signed with the supplier, and obviously we can add other ones as well. And in the comments section, we can start an internal thread with other users of Prokuria, other stakeholders, in order to discuss any relevant issues regarding the supplier. And this will happen by simply tagging someone. For example, I will tag my colleague Alina, and I will ask her to validate a scorecard for 2022. Let's say. After that, what this will happen after I send this message, my colleague will receive an email notification that I've tagged her in this message. She will be able to log into the platform and simply answer here. So what this functionality does is it enables you to have all of the information regarding the particular subject, as in this case, the supplier. You can have all the information in Prokuria. You don't need to, let's say, segment your information by phone calls, emails, and so on. It's very easy to have everything in Prokuria. Now that we've covered the supplier onboarding, the how-to, and also we've gone a bit more in depth at the supplier level, I suggest that we go to the last part of the webinar, which would be the Q&A session. However, just before the Q&A session, I would like to let you know that in order to test and experience what we've just shown you and more, we have a 2-week free trial that you can access on our site, prokuria.com. You click on Start Free Trial, no credit card or any hassle required. You simply test the platform, see if it's a fit for you, and if you want to go more in-depth or have any questions, we can schedule another demo with you and your team. Simply contact us via the contact form on our website, and we'll be in touch. And now, Elena, let's see what questions we have from the audience.
Thank you, Eugene, for the excellent presentation and for showing how supplier onboarding works in Prokuria. We have 2 questions, and the first one goes like this. All my suppliers are in my ERP. Can I import them to Prokuria? I'll take this one. Okay. That's a very good question. We often receive it from our clients that use an ERP or some other system, not only for keeping data like suppliers, but also for inventory, items, contracts, and so on. The answer to the question is yes, we can import supplier into Prokuria, as Prokuria supports API connectivity. We can connect with the ERP. We can connect the ERP with Prokuria, so we can bring all the data. This is, of course, a more tech discussion, and if the case, someone from our technical team can join a meeting, explain, and offer all the details. Okay. Second question, it's what can we do after we onboard the suppliers? Eugene, if you can show directly into the platform, please.
Yes, definitely. So I'll take this one. So let's see what can we do after we onboard the supplier. So that's a good question. We can do multiple things. So let's go to the supplier directory. First of all, obviously, you can have the suppliers organized by different criteria. You can
just a second, Eugene. Yeah. Maybe you can share the screen.
Oh, sure thing. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
So what we can do here, so we're in the supplier directory, which I've shown you during the presentation. First things first, what we can do is you can, as I was saying, you can organize the suppliers by different criteria. You can give even access to other stakeholders to the directory, so they can extract their own relevant information. After that, you can create let's say, other forms similar to the onboarding form, which you can send to the suppliers regularly in order for them to update the relevant information. So we can also even set up automated workflows so that, let's say, once every 3, 6 months or 1 year even, you are notified that you need to send the form to a supplier for them to update their information. Maybe you need some updated certifications, maybe their address has changed, etc. You just decide what information needs to be updated. You create this form and you simply send it to the suppliers as with the onboarding form. So that's one of the things that you can do. And last but not least, as one of Prokuria's main modules is a sourcing module, you can launch RFIs, RFQs, or even auctions and gather bids from the respective suppliers. And this can be done from here in the events page, where we can see all the sourcing events, which are very well organized. You can group them. Again, we can put other criterias here according to your requirements, and we can add the events from here. Add event, we see RFIs, RFQs, auctions, and so on. So I think this is what you can do after after onboarding the suppliers. I hope this answers the question.
Thank you. Thank you. And the last question, can this software be integrated to Ariba? Well, it's possible to integrate it, but it's not a straight through integration. We need, of course, to discuss, to be in touch with the technical team from the Ariba and understand what data should we bring into Prokuria or what data should we push from Prokuria into Ariba. Okay, so I think this concludes our webinar. Thank you once again for taking the time to be with us. I hope you find it useful. We'll send you all the recording and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.